Hey Jess, thank you so much for joining me to talk about your experiences in the mastermind.
Of course.
Before we jump into the questions, do you want to share a little bit about what you do and where you're based first?
Yeah, I'm a speech therapist. I work primarily with children of all ages. I'm in San Diego, California. I specialize with working with preschool age to school age for a variety of speech sound disorders, apraxia of speech, language disorders, and I also specialize in literacy disorders.
Yeah. And what made you join the mastermind program?
Well, I joined because I have been growing my business a lot over the last few years, but then I've kind of got to a point where I wasn't quite bringing enough income for the amount of work I was doing. And I was at the point where I had too many clients and I needed to start hiring people. But then when I wasn't even making enough money myself, I wasn't quite sure how I'm supposed to hire employees and try and pay them as well.
Yeah, to me that catch-22.
Yeah.
And so did you have any fears about joining the mastermind?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous because it was a lot of money, more money than I've ever spent on anything else for my business.
Yeah.
And that was probably my biggest reservation was just, am I going to get my money's worth out of it? So, but yeah, I have. So.
Good. I'm glad to hear. So what challenges were you facing in your business? You talked a little bit about being stuck with not knowing where to how to recruit people. Did you feel like you had a consistent way of getting new referrals, or was that a bit unclear for you too?
Yeah, it was a little bit, people just seem to find me. I'm in a little beach area where a lot of people like to stay local. So I was getting those people, but it was hard because not all of them are my ideal client.
Yeah.
And so when I pick up a client that wasn't really my specialty, then I felt like I was spending, an hour preparing everything I need for their session because I'm not, as well versed in that area. And then trying to plan for the next session. And everything took a lot more time. And so I feel like I wasn't using my time wisely by not having my specialties down. And it was also hard. I think in the mastermind, I've learned a lot about just kind of reframing how I think about money and income to my business and kind of have a different perspective on it now. And now I look back at things I did even a year ago and I kind of laugh at my profit goals.
Oh, but that's like growth, isn't it? And I remember like at the end, as we came to the end of the mastermind and you were looking at the goals that you'd put down in the accelerator and you and someone else were just like, just ridiculous. Like, we already hit that. Like, what's the next one? And I think hit your 3-year goals, like, and it is, right? So it's stretching beyond where you're at. But so you kind of touched on like hoping that you would get a bit more clarity about moving forward with your business, and I guess like like getting clearer on who your ideal client was and how you work just with them. Was there anything else you were hoping you'd learn?
Yeah, well, I was also hoping to get some sort of work-life balance because I feel like I've enjoyed having a business and running a business, but I don't have kids right now, and I can't imagine trying to have children with working this much. But if I'm not working this much, then it's like, how do I have a profitable business? So it's been difficult to figure out how to plan for the future.
And I remember you saying as well, your husband was like, I don't see you. Like, where are you? Yeah. Like, we sleep in the same bed, but I don't see you.
I get changed? He has dinner ready and I just eat and go to sleep. So
has that changed at all in being
I'm still working somewhat long hours, but I'm getting a lot more done and bringing a lot more money into it. And now that I'm about to be hiring my first full-time employee,
yay,
I'm excited. So I'm hoping that once she's full-time, then I can kind of relieve some of my workload to another person and we'll have normal work schedules. So
and then bring on someone else that you can then train, because you then get that time back to be able to grow the team because you've got capacity to do that. So you said you were worried you wouldn't make your money back, but you didn't need to worry about that. So what impact has the mastermind had on your revenue and your ideal client load? It sounds like that's changed for you. What sort of tangible results have you seen?
Yeah, so like I said before, with spending less time preparing for clients, I have ideal clients all throughout the week, then it's just you know, I can just spend a couple minutes getting ready for their session. I already know what I'm doing for the session. I know what their goals are because it's so easy for me to kind of come up with it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I've increased my rates. So that's been very helpful. And I don't feel so guilty about it. Like I remember trying to increase my rates and just feeling bad and like, oh, well, nobody's going to be able to afford me. And so I'm already bringing in more money this year and in the 3 months of this year so far than I was, well, COVID kind of threw things off a little bit, but than I was for like 6 months of last year. So,
oh, wow. So like doubled your revenue.
Yeah.
And so you haven't even got your full-time person started yet.
No, I'm so excited.
She's going to be huge for you. So what would you say to someone thinking about joining the mastermind?
I think that what I've learned is that it's, you know, most of us are not in specialties that really we've ever learned business, you know, ever. I've never taken a business class in my life before this. And so it's just kind of hard because there's so much stuff you don't know. And no matter how much learning you do on your own, it helps to have somebody else's perspective who, you know, this is what they do, you know, this is your job. You specialize in marketing, and just kind of being able to help you look at things objectively and make those hard decisions, you know, when it comes to employees and also just kind of steer you in the right direction of how to attract new clients.
And what surprised you most about the mastermind?
I would say that there's a lot more in the mastermind besides just marketing. Like marketing is obviously a huge part of it, but there's so many other little things, you know, like making difficult decisions that I wasn't really expecting to be covered. Just how to retain clients that are coming in, you know, like how to write treatment plans and things like that, that are just overall bringing better services at my business. And then that helps bring in more business too. So it's a nice circle.
Cool. And what was your favorite thing about working with me?
You. You really kind of get to know all of our businesses and give us practical advice, and also kind of can support whatever we need at the time. It changes, you know, week to week. I feel like every week somebody has a different concern or a different, you know, issue coming up, and just kind of troubleshooting it and being able to get to know everybody that is in the group together and kind of know everybody's business. And it was a great experience.
And so just touching on that, how did you find the community aspect? Because a couple of people have said, oh, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it was really nice to have a group of women who are all trying to do the same thing and achieve the same thing. Was that good for you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the biggest, well, the biggest benefit for me would be the group that we have. And it's so small and so select. I'm in so many different Facebook groups, SLPs and private practice, and, you know, all these other groups, and you can't really post too much in there because there's so many people in the, you don't want to post, you know, a question about how somebody handles an employee situation or something because your employee might be in that group, or or just you don't want to give away any information, or it just, I feel like it's not as collaborative. And so so having a smaller group is where everybody's kind of working through the same stuff and giving suggestions, and it's a lot more interactive. It's one of the only Facebook groups I have notifications on for.
Oh, I love that.
I think it might be my only group actually. So
there you go. So you see everything that comes up. So anything else you'd like to add, Jessica?
I guess just that it was scary trying to think about whether or not this was the right choice, because it is such a big financial it's such a big, you know, financial decision to make, but it was the best thing that I've done for my business. Definitely.
Oh, it's definitely like what makes me love what I do, like hearing that kind of stuff from you guys and seeing and hearing those results, like doubling your revenue. And I know for you, you're literally just getting started, because there's been so many other things at play in your practice with, you know, you've had a part-time school role and you really haven't been able to hit your stride. And I know that you're going to hit your stride when the school year finishes and you get into this full time. And I'm so excited to see what happens for you, because it's going to be awesome. I know it is. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I know that people find these really helpful to watch back when they're thinking about joining. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.